Right, welcome to this lecture number 23, and this is about normal views of oblique surfaces. So we are continuing from our last lecture. In the last lecture, what we did, given an oblique plane, we can identify a line on that. And what was the purpose? The purpose was, for a given oblique plane which is not projected as true shape or normal view on any of the principal planes, and we wanted to determine its true shape. So the method was, the oblique plane, identify a line on the oblique plane, say oblique line here, determine on an auxiliary plane the true length projection of that oblique line. Using that true length, create the point view of the line. Once we have created the point view of the line, because the line is lying on the oblique plane, we will have the edge view of the oblique plane. Once we have the edge view of the oblique plane, say this is the oblique plane, here is the edge view. What we do, we take another auxiliary plane, and the condition is the edge view of the oblique plane and the edge view of the auxiliary surface or auxiliary plane, both are parallel. Okay, if they are parallel, that is how the condition is. So the oblique plane now can be projected onto the auxiliary plane as a true shape. Okay, so that's the oblique one and that's the auxiliary one here. So this is what we have seen, and using this we could create the auxiliary views, or we can say normal views, of many of these inclined planes. We have seen these examples. Today what we will do, we will reverse this problem a bit. So we have an object, say the isometric drawing of the object is given to us. Using the isometric, we know all the dimensions. Even if there is a surface which is oblique, I know its geometry and the dimension from the isometric, or maybe from some other source. Now the purpose is, we want to create the projection of that object, entire object, on the principal planes, say on the frontal, horizontal, and on the profile. So note that some parts of the object are oblique and they will not be projected on the principal planes as the true shape, rather they will be projected as the foreshortened ones. So in this, let's take the first example, and the examples that I'm taking today, they are quite involved. There will be large number of auxiliary planes, hinge lines, projectors. So be careful when you're watching it and be with me. Let us start with the first one. So here is the isometric drawing of a given object, and you will find that this part of the object is inclined or rotated in the horizontal as well as it is inclined. Some more faces of this, or rather some more views of this. So that is how the object looks like. And what we have to do, we have to create its frontal, horizontal, and the normal views of the oblique surfaces. So all this has to be done in a drawing. So what we will do, we'll start with creating the frontal and horizontal projections of this object for those parts of the object which can be done immediately or without much problem. And then later on we'll be creating the true view or the true shape of the inclined part on an auxiliary plane. And then from that auxiliary plane where we know that inclined part as the true shape, we'll take the projectors back to the horizontal and the frontal, so that we can generate the foreshortened views of the inclined part on the frontal and horizontal. Let us do it. So here I am first creating the frontal view, and that's the direction of the viewing. So we have the dimensions are given, and with the help of the dimensions we can draw the frontal and the horizontal views without much trouble, and this part we have done already. So this is the base of the inclined part over here, and we know it at what angle it is inclined, so with the help of that we can draw it. Alright, here look at this surface. If I show it correctly, over here we want to now create a view by seeing from this direction. So for the inclined part, it's side view. For that we will be creating a hinge line over here. Okay, let's do that. If you create the hinge line, so we have an auxiliary plane introduced, which is A1, and on that auxiliary plane, if you project the object from horizontal, of course you know now in this case this is A3, this is A2, and this is A1 as per our definition, and we are creating the projection on A3. So the projection on A3 will look like, these are the simple things, and similarly for the inclined part, this is how the base of the inclined part will project over here. Now we know the size of the inclined part. Okay, we know the size of it, we know its height. So that height we can plot here, and we also know its inclination angle, because this is something which is given to us. So with the help of this we can plot this inclined part. Now we know one thing, that on this face and this face, you know, we have the details as shown over here. These are the details. So, and these details, or rather if I say it in a little different manner, I can say this surface or this face is the edge view of the plane which I am shading here. Alright, so if I take a hinge line parallel to this, I will find in this area on this auxiliary plane the true shape of the inclined part. Okay, and that is known to us. So over here in this area I will be plotting the true shape, and the true shape is known to us. So let us do it. Alright, so if we extend the projector, that's the base, the height, and then the arc part of it, center of the circle or the drill, and then we draw the circle over here. So this is the true shape of the incline which is known to us. Now with the help of this auxiliary view on A2, I can take the projectors back to A1. Alright, in order to see how the inclined part on the edge view appears. Okay, let's do it. So I can project, and that is how the circle will project over here, the drill, and the dashed lines here are showing because the drill is passing through the plate. Okay, once we have this, we can now bring it to the horizontal also. Okay, we can bring it to the horizontal, and then from here to the frontal. So with the help of the projection on A1, I can project it back to the horizontal and then to the frontal. So if you do it, now you will notice I have done 3 projectors here, and the projectors are starting from these points, or I can take this also as a projector. Yes. Now what you will notice, that these projectors are on the, if I call it back face, I call it as front face. So corresponding to the back face, where on the back face, the face here, the drill circle is there. Okay, so those points we have been able to identify. So from the A1, now I am bringing it to horizontal, so that on the horizontal projection, with the help of the distances that we are measuring on here, okay, because as per our definition, if I go back to the definition, this is A3, this is A2, and this is A1. Or rather, I will change it. This is our A3, where we are projecting the thing, where we are finally making the projection. A2, from where we are drawing the projectors. A1, from where we are taking the distances. So these are the projectors coming from A2. Projection will be made on A3 with the help of the distances which we are measuring on A1. So I will show you for one point only. Corresponding to this point, for example, from the hinge line to the top, we have a distance here, D1. So this distance D1 from the hinge line to the top, I will be marking the point. If I say this point as 1, so I'll have the point 1 over here. Similarly, we can do it for the other points. So if you do it and draw it, first we will be able to make how this shape is on the back face, okay, and how this back face is being projected onto the horizontal. Similarly, we can do it also for, let me remove it, because this shape is also on the front face. So if I draw the projectors from these points, okay, the projectors from these points, and apply the same distances, and similar to these lines, I will have the projectors from the front face, and then applying these distances from here, I will get the projection of the shape on the front face. Okay, so we have two faces, and that's why there will be, because the object is like this, an arc and a drill. So its projection on the horizontal for the back face and the front face, both will be appearing. So let me do it. If I do it, it appears like this. In the next example, I will do it with more detail. Of course, now from here, using the same principle, I can also project it to the horizontal or the frontal projection. We will do the same thing now in another example. So here is the second example, and in this case again, what is given to us, we are given the front view and the true shapes on these auxiliary planes, okay, of the object as it is here and as it is here. Now with the help of this, we call partial auxiliary views. What we have to do, we have to draw the frontal, horizontal and profile view of the given object. So for the given object, we have to complete the frontal, we have to do the horizontal and the profile. So let's proceed with for this. So this is something which is given to us, okay, and let's start. Few things, some important things, as we did in the previous case also. In order to create the horizontal view, I can create the horizontal view of this, or use from the frontal by drawing the projectors to the horizontal. I can create the horizontal projection of this, and of course I know the depth of it because the depth is 40 unit. So using this depth I can create it. But the object over here in this part, okay, it will appear as a foreshortened view on the horizontal. To create this foreshortened view, I will have to take the help of the true shape, because this is how the true shape is, and this true shape here is shown on an auxiliary plane, which is an auxiliary plane orthogonal to the frontal. So what we will have, if I am creating the projection say on A3, my frontal will become A2 and my another auxiliary plane from where I am measuring the distances will become A1. So what we are doing now, corresponding to any point, for example this point, if I want to locate, I know its position over here in the frontal. From the frontal I can draw the projectors to the horizontal. Now from the hinge I will be measuring the distance D, applying it here D, and this is how, if this point is say 4, I will be able to locate the point number 4 here. And the same exercise will be done for entire object. One more thing, you will see it also by once we do it. This particular shape, I will make its projection for the bottom face. I am calling this face as the bottom face and this face as the top face. Okay, just for the convenience. Here also top face and the bottom face. So this shape is being projected on bottom, and corresponding to this bottom I will have a projection on the horizontal. Similarly, the same shape is also being projected onto the top face over here. So corresponding to the point 4, I have a point 4 on the bottom, similarly point 4 on the top. Okay, so from here also I can draw the projectors. So I will have to make, or I have to project this shape corresponding to both bottom and the top onto the horizontal, and I will have to be also very careful about what will be visible to me and what will not be visible, so that I will have to show it as the test line or the hidden lines. So let us do it. First we will create for this, for the parts which are simpler, we will create, for this part we will create the horizontal view. I will do it very fast. So to create the horizontal view, that is how we do it, and we know it. Why this line is dash? Because if you are seeing from top, you can't see it. Okay, that's the hidden line, and we know this. So if you continue with this, that is how we are projecting the frontal projection with the help of the projectors now on the horizontal. And as I said, we know the width of it. The width of this is known to us because it is 40. Now having done this, now our job is, I want to transfer this arc, okay, out of this shape, this arc I want to transfer to the horizontal projection. To transfer this, I will be marking some points on the arc. So you will notice some points have been marked here. If I give these points some numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that is how the points have been marked here. Corresponding to all these points, I will be taking the projectors to the frontal. First for the bottom view or bottom face, and then second for the top face. Okay, and then we will be taking it to the horizontal. Okay, so these are the points which we have marked here. Now from 4, that is how the projector goes, okay, to the frontal, and that is how the projector goes to the horizontal. From 3 and 5, the projector goes to the frontal to this point, and from that point it will go further up. We will do it in a moment. So from 2 and 6, projector is reaching here. So over here you will notice that's the projector from frontal corresponding to 3 and 5. Similarly, corresponding to 2 and 6, that's the projector which is going to the horizontal. Corresponding to line here 1 and 7, 1 and 7. This is the projector. Once we have all these projectors, what we need to do now, say for example along this line, because the projector is corresponding to 7 and 1, okay, these 2 points. Where is 1 lying? So 1 is lying at this much distance from the hinge line. So we will measure this distance here D, and we'll apply the distance from the hinge line along the projector, say D here. So if we apply the distance, that is how the distance is applied. So we are able to locate point number 1. Corresponding to point number 1 is projection on the horizontal. Okay. Similarly, we can do it for point number 2 also. So you will see that I am measuring the distance over here, and this distance is being applied over here. Okay, let's apply the distance. So that is how the distance is being applied. Let me clean it. So I'm applying the distances and locating the points. So point 1, 2, similarly corresponding to the distance here, point number 3. So point number 3, and then corresponding to this, the point number 4. Now from this I can measure the distance between 3 and 5, 2 and 6, 1 and 7, and apply those distances also here. Okay, in order to identify the rest of the points. So if I apply this, that is how I can find the points 4, 6 and 7. And then I will be joining these. So the points have been joined. Now one thing here, at this stage, will this arc be hidden or visible? So what is this arc corresponding to? This arc is corresponding to the arc here in the true shape, while this is being projected on the frontal, and that's the one. Corresponding to this, I am drawing it. So if you see it from the top, okay, that is how you are seeing it. You are seeing it from the top. This is visible to us. It's not hidden. So this arc will come as the solid line. So let me make this solid line. Similarly, I can do it right now. We had done it for this face. Okay, we have done it for this face, which is the bottom face. Now we can do it also for the top face. So to do it for the top face, we will be extending each of these projectors to the top face, and then from the top face I will be drawing the further projectors. Alright, and then applying the same distances in the similar manner as we had done for the bottom face. So if you do it, let us do. So you will notice over here, that's the projector which is going to the top face. Now this projector is going to the horizontal, and on this we will be applying the distance which we know already, and on that between 3 and 5 also will apply. Okay, so we will do it in a moment. Alright, so these are the points. So corresponding to 3 and 5, these are the points, and the distance between 3 and 5 is here. Similarly, we have located other points, and we could draw the arc. Now this arc also, because this arc is on the front face, and this arc is corresponding to these points, sorry, on corresponding to this surface, and this entire one is visible to us. So we will draw the arc here as a solid line. So that is the arc which is drawn as the solid line here. Now our next job is the drill over here. This drill is also to be projected onto the horizontal. Procedure is same now. The drill itself, or the circle on this shape, now we will divide it in multiple points. So let us do that. I divide it in multiple points here. as the division has been done, and corresponding to each of these points I will be taking the projectors. Say first I take the projectors to the top face, and then from the top face I will be taking it to the horizontal plane, and then I will be measuring the distances to these points from the hinge line, say these distances, and I will be applying these onto the horizontal, and that is how we will be creating the projection of the circle over here onto the horizontal. And right now we are doing it for the top face. So in the case of the top face, the entire circle which is there, or the drill, complete drill, is being seen, so it will come as the solid line. So let us do it. So I'm drawing these projectors, as well as the green one here, it shows the distance being measured. So on the projector here now, that's the projector which is going to the front face corresponding to this circle, going to the horizontal. On this, from here I will be measuring the distance equal to this, or applying the distance there. So that is how the distance is applied. So a point here is projected here. All right, if you do it for rest of the points also, whether it is this point here, whether it is this point here, and all other points. So for all other points the same job is to be done, and that is how on the horizontal we have now identified several points. So now I will be able to join these points. So if I join these points, that is how the projection is, and of course it is similar. And because the projection is, or because the drill is seen from the top, so that's why it is coming as solid. Now if we see something interesting over here, because this is also the part of the drill, here also the part of the drill. If I do it now for the back face or the bottom face, so the bottom face means the projectors from the circle will only reach up to the bottom face, and then they will be projected up from the bottom face. So bottom face, and the projection is going up to the horizontal. Okay, and again we will be applying the distances, same distances which are measured here, we will be applying on the horizontal. If you do it, we will be able to project the circle over here onto the horizontal. But one thing, which part of that circle will be visible and which will be hidden? Let us see that. If you see from the top, because that is how the top view is being generated, this part is visible while this is hidden. Okay, so we'll see beyond a certain line, say anything which is on this side is hidden, while anything between these two, this is visible. Okay, so if I just do it again, anything which is on this side is visible, while beyond this line here will be hidden. So we have to take care of this point once we are drawing it on the horizontal. Let us do it. Of course the procedure is simpler, so I am rushing through it. So these are the projectors now, and the distances, we already know the distances, we will be applying those distances. And once we have all the projectors, now we will join them. So if you join, the part which is here is visible, and so here only this part is visible while the rest is hidden. So what we have done, we have seen drawing, the foreshortened view on the horizontal projection with the help of the true shape. Okay, and with the help of the, say, an auxiliary plane, the frontal plane, and the horizontal projection. And we need three, A1, A2, A3. So this is how the job can be done. The same thing can be done now on the other side also. So let us do it here. So please note over here, again we will be taking the projections corresponding to different points here. So let these are the projections corresponding to different points, and I can take it to the front, and then from the front I can take the projectors again to the horizontal, and of course the distances are being measured from the hinge line, and then these distances are being applied again from the horizontal, or sorry, the hinge line on the horizontal projection. Let us do it. It is similar to what we have done, and with that I will be able to draw the projection. Okay, now be careful which part will come as hidden line, which will come as the solid line. Now one thing, why this entire thing is coming as the hidden line while this is coming as the solid line, because this one is corresponding to the arc which is over here, okay, which is corresponding to this. So this is something which is visible. However, for this phase the arc is not visible because it is being hidden from the top. That is why the arc is coming as dashed line. Okay, if you complete it, again this particular isocircle here is completely solid because this is corresponding to the isocircle or the circle on the top face. However, the one which is on the bottom face will be partly visible because the lines of visibility will be anything within this is visible. Okay, so this will be visible while anything over here will not be visible, because this area here in between, okay, because this is an empty area, okay, because the drill is passing through it, so this part will be visible. If we do it, we can do the other one also, and that is how part of it is visible, rest is dashed line. So we have completed this complete horizontal projection of the object. We will use the same concept also for doing the side view. So if you want to do the profile view of this, the concept is same. So what we will do here in this case, we will be now making use of the hinge line here. That's the profile view which we are going to do over here. Again, this will become A3 where we are making the projection. Frontal will become A2 because we are drawing the projectors from A2, and the distances will be measured from the given auxiliary view. So for example, for the shape given over here, if I want to draw its profile view, I will be drawing, say for the top face of this, I will draw the projectors to A3. So projectors are being drawn from A2 to A3, and then I can measure these distances and apply them here. So if it is distance D1, it is being applied here as D1, and then if it is distance D2, I will be applying it on the corresponding projection, say D2, and if it is distance, say D3, and that is being applied here, sorry, from here as D3, and so on. So let us complete it. So if by doing it, I will be able to generate the projection on the profile principal plane also. So regarding visibility and other things, be careful as we had done in the earlier case.